Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. This week's motivation, we're talking emotional management. Friday. I've actually talked about this on a live stream before. If you don't watch me on Periscope, you didn't see it. I might have posted it on YouTube as well, but I want to post this as a weekly motivation video. And the story actually came from 50 Cent, the rapper. Now, 50 Cent, when he was coming up, when he first started coming up in Queens, New York, and he was in the streets, he was hustling, selling drugs, he actually got caught. Once he got caught selling drugs, but it was with a small amount of drugs. So he was able, with his public defender lawyer, to convince the judge, hey, this guy's a first-time offender. He was underage at the time. I think he was like 15 or 16 years old. The public defender was able to convince the judge, hey, why don't we just send this young kid, Curtis, to it was a shock facility, shock rehab facility. So actually the facility was for people who they were either first-time offenders, they got caught with small offenses, may have even been for people who are actual users of drugs. So what he did, he went to this shock thing, and that's where he started to learn a lot of his discipline. But he also at one point had to go to a rehab facility. He went to like a 12-step rehab facility because he was able to get the judge to charge him with actual using drugs instead of selling drugs. So as he's at this rehab facility, any of you ever been to these, or a 12-step program? I've never been to one, but this is what he told as a story, is that they would have these times where everyone would sit in a circle, you would stand up and say, hey, my name is Curtis and I'm an addict. And everyone would say, hi, Curtis, and then you tell your little story. And he had to participate. The judge's stipulation was, listen, if you're not going to go to jail, because I could send you to jail, I'm going to send you to this program. The only way I'm not going to send you to jail is if you go to this program and you actually do it. Like, you go through the process, you go to all the meetings just as everybody else does. That was the stipulation for him to not have to go to jail. So he goes to this program and he would go and he would say his stuff and do whatever he was doing, and he would be honest. He would be completely honest in the meetings, and he would say things like, look, I don't actually use drugs. I actually sell drugs. I got caught, well, not I sell, but I was selling drugs. That's the reason I'm here. I got caught selling drugs. And sometimes the people, the addicts who really were addicts in the meetings, they would kind of get annoyed. They would get angry at him because they would blame him as the reason why they were addicted. Like, oh, you drug dealers, y'all the reason, and y'all make me pay all this money. You keep supplying me with more drugs, and this is the reason why my life is terrible. So some of the addicts would say things to Curtis that he didn't really like. And these meetings would be, the way he explained it, is that the meeting would be like on a Monday or a Tuesday. When he would stand up and say whatever he had to say, he would tell a story, and then people would get to respond to his story and say whatever they wanted to say. And sometimes people would say crazy negative stuff to him. But here's the stipulation in the meeting, is that Curtis could reply to them, but he wasn't allowed to reply until Friday. So no matter what anybody said, he could not go back at them. He obviously couldn't go beat them up or fight them. He couldn't respond at all. He couldn't say anything. He just had to listen and take it in, absorb it. And if he had something to say back, he could say it on Friday. Now, what does that have to do with you? This is all about discipline, first of all, mental discipline, and is emotional management. It is managing your emotions, controlling your state. How often, even on the internet, I mean, YouTube is a great example. How often do you get on YouTube, maybe if you post videos yourself, or someone replies to a comment that you left, or someone says something in the video that you don't like, how quickly are you to react and try to go back at that person? They said something you don't like, somebody left a comment that you didn't like, somebody replied to your comment, or somebody said something in the video you didn't like, and you just immediately just go at them, and you just get with this emotional outburst. And you may say, okay, well, so what? It's just an outburst, just a comment on YouTube. It's not hurting anybody. There's no crime for doing it, and you're absolutely right. But are you exercising discipline over your emotions? Are you exercising discipline over your reactions? Are you reacting or are you responding? So that's two different things. Reacting means something happens, you immediately do something. Reacting means somebody says something, you say something back without even thinking about it. You just have an immediate reaction. They say something, you say something. Somebody pushes you, you push them back. Somebody punches you, you punch them back. That's a reaction. You don't really have to think about it. But a response is when you're putting some space between the stimulus and what you actually end up doing, the actual response, whatever you do. That is responding. And responding requires discipline. That means somebody says something crazy to you, you don't immediately say something back. but you can put a little bit of thought in between it. Okay, why is this person saying this? What is this based on? What's the situation? If I say this, how is that going to affect some other situation that I got? And I'm not saying all the time in the moment. Somebody say something crazy to you, you might react at times, but are you controlling your reactions? Are you controlling your responses, or is the stimulus controlling you? Because if somebody says something crazy to you and your response is completely based on what they said, then they're actually controlling you at the moment. You're not controlling them. You're not controlling yourself. They're controlling you, because what they said forced you to respond. Anytime you feel like what someone else did forces you to do something, you are being controlled by that person. Now, are there times when you may actually need to do this? Yes. If you're walking in the mall and somebody just pushes you for no reason, then you go beat them up. Hey, they did kind of force you to beat them up, but it ain't nothing wrong with it because you were defending yourself. So I'm not saying that this always makes you wrong, but you need to understand what it is. And I don't think in today's world, for the most part, it's a whole lot safer than it was back in the, back in the caveman days when you could actually get killed by another person and there was no jail for it. Nowadays, things are relatively safe, especially for those of us in this advanced technological world where you have Wi-Fi and you probably have a phone or a $1,000 smartphone in your hand right now. We all have a lot more safety than we've used to have. So you don't need to react to everything, but you can respond to things. Put some space in between it. Think somebody said something crazy to you on Tuesday and you couldn't say nothing back until Friday. You would probably be a lot more measured in your response. You wouldn't be as emotional in your response because the emotion would have died down. The emotion of the moment would have died down. You wouldn't be so concerned about saving face, which is why a lot of reactions happen, because people are just trying to save face, meaning they feel embarrassed or they feel like they gotta maintain their reputation, whatever it may be, or hurt the other person's reputation, whatever the situation is. Really, a lot of it's based on emotion. But when you're able to put some thought, some space in between what happened and what you do, that's when you have discipline. That's what we call maturity. Mature people put space in between the two. Immature people, children, animals, they react. Animals react. Animals don't think. If any type of stimulus that a dog has, any of you have a dog, you know the dog immediately reacts to things. Dogs don't think. You don't hit your dog or yell at your dog and then the dog on Friday comes back and lets you know how he felt about it. No, the dog immediately reacts. Whatever way they react, but they immediately react. They don't think. Animals don't think. Young children often don't have the ability to put that space in between. But you, adult, budding adult, young adult, growing mature person, start putting some space in between what happens and what you do. Imagine you had to wait till Friday to say something back. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.